Good day, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Customer Success by Design Live. I'm your host, Adam Peddicord. I'm very excited today to have Lions and Tigers founder and president, Brea Starmer, on with me today because this topic is all about it's how you built your business, and I think it's so relevant to what's going on in the marketplace today. I'm just so excited to have you here. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks, Adam.
And the topic, just for everyone, is we're going to talk about building a thriving workforce through part-time labor. And I think that's super relevant today just because, frankly, there is a pandemic and everybody's trying to juggle this work-life balance thing, and it's hard. And I think the workforce is changing, and I think you have dialed into something that's probably going to be, I need to figure out another way of saying the new norm. How about just normal? Do we even need to say that anymore?
Normal, yeah, the new normal, yeah, right. Like, it's just like it is what it is.
There you go. There you go. Well, I'm really excited here today because for our data leaping off point, I thought this might be an interesting place to start. So this was from the U.S. Census study back in 2018 that looked at the percentage of people who are working part-time and the reasons why. So specifically looking at the female breakdown, it really just kind of spoke to me from the fact of women are just really carrying the brunt of this, and that to me, it speaks to that just leaves this massive talent pool it's underutilized out there, and it's really like a challenge for businesses to figure out how can they tap into that. So I don't know if, as you are going down your journey of building out your business, this was something that was relevant to you, or you think it's still relevant today, but I thought it might be an interesting leaping off point for us to start our conversation.
Yeah, Adam. I mean, I study a lot the trends, and we hear about this term. If anyone's sort of keyed into this theme, it's called the maternal drain, and it's this idea that we're losing not only working women, but that women in the workforce are being set back, and the projections are nearly a decade's worth of progress in terms of pay and equity, et cetera. Forecasts look like it'll take us 200 years to catch up with our male counterparts, our white male counterparts. And so, this is certainly a motivating statistic to look at. And if you think about some of the reasons why, and we're filming this, of course, in the middle of a pandemic, and many of the people at my company included, are homeschooling children, or their childcare options have been limited. And so the realities here for women are particularly acute, but really this is a societal issue and a workforce issue of how do we unlock half or 51% of our workforce that could be contributing to our GDP.
So I would love to dig into that with you because my personal family falls definitely into this bucket. We have two working adults, yet we also have both our kids having to be homeschooled now full time due to the pandemic. So we've been trying to do this who's on, who's off thing. And unfortunately, it's just more and more that my wife has been on. So therefore, she's the one making the sacrifices in the career. So it forces me to think through, and this is why I was so excited to talk to you about, okay, from a business perspective, a lot of times I just think about it as it's just a math problem. Like, how can I create some of this space to find this talent who maybe could only work for a little bit to do this thing? How did you kind of construct that journey without giving away your secret sauce? Because I know I want to be conscious of that. But how did you construct that structure for your business, and how would you kind of coach anybody else out there who's in leadership to kind of think that through?
Well, first of all, I am very happy to give away our secret sauce. To me, I have come up with the most obvious business of all time. I've enabled part-time work. And so, yes, there is some innovation in terms of how we think about this and apply this to the workforce of the future, because we're really at the convergence of a couple of themes. One is the rise of the gig economy and the move towards freelance. We see predictions like more than half of Americans within the next 5 years will be freelance. Half of Americans. We see this maternal drain happening, and particularly women dropping out to take care of children primarily. There are many other reasons that people drop out of the traditional workforce, but we see that as one main driver. And then workplace health. like just the kind of mental challenges that people are having, mental and emotional challenges of showing up at work, and some of the exclusion that's happening, and of course all the layoffs, like and insecurity in the job force. So all these trends have come together to really build a vulnerable system that we're seeing today. And so you asked where this came from for me. And so Adam, I'd love to say that when I started this thing, I could have predicted the future. I don't think anyone probably could have predicted 2020. But for me, what happened was I was working at a startup in Seattle, a very big, well-funded startup. And they went through a round of layoffs, and they laid off 20% of the company. And when that happened, I agreed with it because it made sense from a business perspective, but I was 7 months pregnant when that happened. And so I personally faced a bunch of discrimination. I went on a bunch of job interviews, and let's just say that there was a lot of prejudice about my ability to achieve at work while 7 months pregnant. And so I was pretty desperate, and the only thing that I could do was freelance, like become a consultant is, what I was able to do. And what I found in doing that was that the lifestyle that I was able to kind of craft for myself was perfect for what I needed when my baby was really little and needed that kind of flexibility in my life. And so as I did that for a couple of years, I started to realize how much it was unlocking in me. Not only was I better performing, in fact, because I had gone through this motherhood journey and felt like I was actually smarter and more productive than I was pre-baby, but I also felt like, a bunch of my friends were like, how are you doing this? I just want to work 10 hours a week and write blog posts. And I was like, you should be able to do that. And so we've just enabled a business that can broker those kinds of interactions. And then we teach people how to do that along the way, both organizations and consultants. We come in the middle and we build those bridges.